Good morning. Good morning. Oops, got to turn some stuff off over here. Turn the banner off. And come to me. Good morning. How is everyone this morning? Be sure and comment. Let me know you're there. Say hello. Let everybody else know you're there. You might get into a conversation with somebody. We should be live on YouTube. I've been trying to start the live stream early enough so that when good morning, I see you. When I start actually the video and the audio for me, then there's none of this 30-second wait time. Of course, I'm not big enough over on YouTube to have to worry about that at all. Good morning over on Clapper. I have to say, it's kind of hard to do both of these, but we're working on it. Good morning over there. Well, it's Friday again. And of course, we've been for a little while doing the live unscripted on Fridays. And it's kind of unscripted. I do have a little bit of stuff to talk about just to kind of prime the pump, so to speak. And I'm open to almost anything, any questions, just almost PG-13, please, that you might have, any comments that you might have. Morning, Mike. In the hosting community. Yeah. Hey, so it's not brand new, but it's new. I've got the Telegram group. When I first set it up, it's t.me/Holstein House. And when I first set it up, immediately I got a spammer. So I put it on private. Well, I've opened it up again today and we'll see how long that lasts. So t.me/Holstein Holstein House, HOLSTEIN one long phrase. And if you want to come over and hang out at Holstein House on Telegram, we can get into some conversations over there. So that's part of the community, part of the YouTube community out there. YouTube is under my name, Robin Holstein. So you guys hop over and say hello. Say hello. What are you guys doing over there, Chris and Mike, besides just kind of goofing off? You busy today? You got big plans for the weekend? I was going to, and I was going to talk about this here in a minute. I'm supposed to take the ham radio technician's exam tomorrow. That's probably going to get pushed back. There are some things that need to be done here, and some things here at Holstein House and some things at the church that need to be taken care of really before Sunday if I can get it done. Not like the church is going to fall down or anything if I don't, but there's some things that I need to get out of the way. It's just moving some stuff around, cleaning some stuff up that needs to be cleaned up. It's about 11 p.m. and just regular errands for the weekend. Yeah, I forget that the time difference, and I'm sorry about that. I know it in the back of my mind, Mike, but I just don't think about it. So you're more than getting ready to go to bed for the evening, but regular errands on the weekend. So what constitutes a regular errand? Groceries or fuel or movies or... We're not moving very much today yet. Minus 40 this morning. Ooh, minus 40. Why do you want to live where it's that cold? I mean, cold, 0 is one thing for a few days, but it just hurts me. And I guess it's, it's what you're used to. It's what we're all used to. I'm used to a more temperate climate. We get down to the zeros and a little bit below on occasion through the winter, maybe 1 or 2 days. There's some winters we don't even get down that far, but I just cannot imagine, because your water lines and everything would have to be so deep. Groceries, laundry, and a few things around the house. Yep, Mike, that's what we'll be doing over here too, in addition to some stuff over at the church. So our pianist, I love her. I really do. She's been ill for a long time and not able to be there at the church, really, and not able to play since not before COVID, because she was there a little bit, because our church is so small that we could, have everybody 6 feet apart, plus the masks and all that stuff if they wore them, and not have to worry about it. So we continued to have church services for a long time, even while some of the other churches were not. They were fully online. And our pianist, she would come in, but she got to where she has issues with the circulation in her legs, and she got to where she just could not be out. So we'd move the piano from its intended place to where it was easier for her to get to a long time ago. She's not going to be back. She's just not well enough to walk into the church, walk up the stairs, sit at the piano. So we need to move the piano back where it originally was supposed to be. And she had a microphone and all, and so all of that stuff needs to be shuffled around. We'd moved one of the big speakers. We've got some of those really old PV speakers, from the 70s that stand about 4 foot tall. I mean, really big ones. And so they not it's not that, it's other than it's awkward, it's not that bad to move, but I'll have to have some help to move it and to move the piano. So we'll have to unplug some stuff from the PA and just shuffle some stuff around that really has needed to be done for a while. And I'd like to get that taken care of before much longer. Yeah, Chris, it's where you grew up, but I get it. I get it. But I just can't. I don't think I could do it. I have enough trouble here, and I'm just uh, 2 houses or 2 lots from where I was born and raised, and I just sometimes here it just is so cold that it hurts. It just hurts my bones all the way through. And I lived in Texas for a little while. Lived at Fort Hood, Texas, for a little while down in Killeen, Copper's Cove, Fort Hood, and it was so nice. And this time of the year, it is already warm, and I could sit out and I just could soak up, and my bones would feel so much better. It was really great. Now, August, it was miserable. Late July, August, and early September, it was you didn't go outside. You didn't go outside, but it it was so nice to be that warm. I don't want to live in Texas again. I'm over that. I've got all that out of my system. I'm fine here. I'm fine here. I'm fine to live out my time. Now the husband, I think he wants to go south when he retires and after we have no more obligations here, no more family obligations here. I think he wants to go south. I don't know how far south would go. I have to take a map and see where and 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 see where Tornado Alley ends, where hurricanes end, and hurricanes from this side ends, and just find that little section of the United States. You live Chris lived in Texas as a boy, but for some silly reason we moved back to Canada. Is that where your extended family's from, Chris, Canada? I mean, that might be why. But where I'm at here in West Virginia is a really good spot. It's we don't Where I'm at, I don't even though we're very close to the river, there is enough of a gully between us and the river that it would take a flood like Noah, back in Noah's day to get me. Um, and the snow isn't too bad too long when it comes. I think the longest we've had really paralyzing snow was a couple weeks. And Mike grew up in Northern California, not as cold as some places, but I now prefer hot weather, easier for me to cool off than warm up. Yeah, yeah, it's like once you're cold, you just can't fix that. And I've had people say, well, you can only take off so much clothing and you're still hot. And you can't do it. I've not, I've not experienced so much heat that I needed to be in a swimsuit, so to say. Or I don't want well, to be naked. You don't want to be naked anyway because the sweat sticks to you. You need cotton clothes on. But I've never been so warm that I couldn't I couldn't manage it. So yeah, I've been to San Diego. I've not been to Northern California. And I was only there for a conference, so I was in one of those awful conference hotels, and there wasn't just in because I flew in. Obviously, I didn't rent a car. Wasn't there long enough for all of that, and it was very expensive to attend that conference anyway. I didn't do any sightseeing other than what I could walk, and there wasn't a whole lot you wanted to walk around in that area where that conference center was. I told the husband here a couple of weeks ago, I said, the Philippines is supposed to be a really good place economically, for somebody from outside it, we could retire down there. And he said, and then he got to talking about all these different places in the world that are supposed to be reasonable for people on what would be in the United States a modest retirement. You can live quite well in some of these other countries. A friend of my dad's goes to Taiwan. I think it's Taiwan. So he travels down there for X amount of time and then comes back here. But I don't think I want to go there. I don't know. I really like where I'm at, but who knows by the time we're ready to retire what things are going to be like. So I'm looking over again over at Clapper. I've got quite a few people looking over there. Hello, glad to see you all. Say hello, please, and let me know you're all in there. I don't. I'm still working on this live experience on Clapper because I'll see stuff and it scrolls off and I miss it. So if you just be patient, just be patient. Okie dokie. Let's see. I've got what's happening here. I've got my Telegram open, and so it's pinging in my ear, and I'm not sure what's going on. Okay. Nothing, just kind of general chatter. I've got to learn. Ooh, somebody's got a. Is that a beef hanging? Not sure if it's a beef or. I think it's beef. Anyway, I've got to learn to turn Telegram off. I just have to turn it off because I get caught up in the conversation all the time. You too have a great Friday and take care. Chris, you go have fun, or at least try. Name it after me. I love the conversation on Telegram and the different groups, but I can just get lost in there and lose hours. And I've absolutely got to stop doing that. I've absolutely got to stop doing that. So, I thought I had a couple folks over on the Facebook. I don't see you guys now. Well, let's talk about a couple things. Oh, listen, for those of you who may be, and unfortunately, Clapper people, you're going to have to either check out the YouTube stream or get a pencil to write this down. I have loaded some new stuff in my Etsy shop, and the Etsy shop is obviously etsy.com/Holstein House, HOLSTEIN House, Holstein House. I have loaded up some. Let me see if I can share this over here. YouTube there. Look there. Can you see how I did that? Isn't that neat? I have loaded up three different images. One is a round Holstein House logo that I put together here maybe last year, about the middle of the year. I haven't really fully transitioned to it, but I'm going to. So it has a round. Oh shoot. Let me see. Is that going to work? There we go. It has a round logo for Holstein House, and then I have an image for Hipcamp. Oh shoot, sorry, that's not what I wanted to do. Anyway, I've got two Hipcamp images. One is for the tent because we're doing the little spot for tent campers, and one is a small little like VW microbus kind of image for those who might come in a small van camper type. I don't have room or facilities for a large pull behind, but a small van camper, very small, like those teardrop campers. Maybe we can probably do that because I just have a parking area for that. But I've put those on backpacks, t-shirts, ceramic coffee mugs, and enamel coffee mugs, and some stickers too. So if you want to go over to Holstein House Etsy and look at those and see if you'd like to buy one. I tried to keep the prices down because sometimes I look at people's promotional things and I think that I can't pay that kind of money for that. But so I tried to keep that down. Oh, and there's my little cookbook, digital download for the cookbook that I talk about all the time. It's on Etsy. I'm also putting the link to this in the show notes, for the podcast and for the video on the YouTube. Thank you, Mike. Oh, it automatically. I see. I'm not familiar with. Can you, Mike? Can you order from Etsy over there? Does it like cost a lot? Is the shipping a lot? Or I know you have stuff. Josh sends you stuff through, or Brian sends you through stuff to your sister, and then she ships it over for you. But is Etsy like really expensive for you to do too? Or have you ever purchased from Etsy? I tried to, you can put anything on in Etsy. I mean, they have just tons and tons of things that you can put your logos on. I tried to keep it kind of relevant. I didn't see any point in putting anything like notebooks, spiral notebooks, and they have underwear and leggings and pajamas and stuff. I tried not to do that because I didn't see any point. All right, I'll take that off there. Let me see. Let me go back here. There we go. Now we're back. And I think I figured out on Tuesday we were having some lag issues with the video, and I think that was because in the background, stupid Apple iTunes was trying to update. Now I don't even use iTunes on this machine. This is a refurbished machine that my father-in-law did for me, and he has it on the administrator side. And I didn't even think about it. I tried to remove it and I couldn't because you got to have the administrator password. It's just a matter of reaching out to him and saying, "Hey, Dillard, what's that password?" But I just haven't done it yet. Yeah, so oh, but I guess you could have it sent to your sister's place, couldn't you? If you got a sticker or two, could ship it over there to her. That wouldn't be too bad, I guess. Excuse me, I've always got sinus stuff going on, allergies and things. I guess I could stop sharing that. That might help. Well, yeah, we'll stop sharing. There we go. Okay, so I do have a little bit of things I was going to talk about if we didn't have a lot going on today. I've got somebody over on Clapper trying to be nasty. I'm not into that, Clapper. I'm not going to change positions for you. Oh my gosh. All right, so some of you are going to be hearing the podcast version of today's episode, today's Unscripted. And you're going to hear it probably on Fountain FM, because that, when I go and look at the metrics for the podcast, most of my downloads and most of the people are listening on Fountain FM. And if you are, and if you participate in the value for value exchange, I hope at some point today I'll say something you find valuable. If you find that anything I've said today is educational, makes you laugh, makes you cry, just makes you think, I hope you'll share a little bit that way. And I do now have on Telegram, I do have that tip box fixed in the Holstein House podcast group. I thought I had it because I signed up with it, but it wasn't actually in the group. So I didn't know you had to make it a member of the group for it to work, but it is in there. So if you use Telegram and you tip people on Telegram, there I am. You can tip me some sats. And I hope maybe something I'll say today, you'll clip it and boost it. And, even if you don't, please share with your friends and subscribe, and encourage them to subscribe as well, whether it's on YouTube or Fountain or any of the other podcast apps, or even on Clapper. Share the link and ask people to subscribe. So I'm going to talk just a tad about the house. Trying to shuffle my pages around here. Postal delivery $77 US, 14 for the enamel mug is reasonable. Okay. Okay. You feel like $14 for the enamel one is I didn't think that was too bad. I've seen some where people are asking $20 and you can do that. I just felt like the default profit margin on the things on the things is like 40%. And I'm all for profit and I'm all for, you know, capitalism, but 40% to me is just too high. I think a reasonable amount is between 25 and 30 because especially on these things because all you're doing is dropping your image there. You're not spending a lot of time. Well, I'm not. I didn't spend a lot of time creating them. I mean, even if I've got the living wage people like to talk about of $15 an hour, which why stop there? But that's another conversation. It didn't take me an hour to put those things together. It didn't take me $15 worth of resources to put it together, much less $15 an hour for my salary. So it and in the professional world in the work that I do, I charge way more than 15 just for my labor. And then add the administrative costs to it too. So I tried to dial that down a little bit, and I just didn't feel like, and the shirts. I tried to make sure that everything was pretty reasonably priced. And I don't know about the shipping. If I like to take that into consideration too. I know that it's easy to go and shop and do this, but then when you start adding shipping, that I do sometimes. I'll get on the Goodwill site. They have an online auction site for a lot of things, and I'll look at things there, and I'll consider the shipping. I get the shipping estimate, and then think, okay, if it's going to cost $10 to ship it to me, $10 is what I'm adding to my bid. So if I think something's worth $5, but it's going to take me $10 to ship, I'm actually paying $15 for that. So I try to look at it that way. I get there are people out there who would probably jump up and down and scream and tell me how dumb I am for doing that. And I'd like to consider a little bit of everybody. I don't think there's anything wrong in profit. Everybody's got to rationalize that for themselves, but I don't see any point in bleeding people to death, especially for something like this. I'm not putting a lot of effort in it, and the people making it aren't putting a lot of effort in it. They've got equipment, and they're cranking stuff out so fast. So anyway, moving along on this for now, the contractor that we have, the contractor that I call for a lot of stuff that we can't do ourselves, stopped by Wednesday at the fellowship hall. We had our Bibles and Brunch service, or Bibles and Brunch Bible study at 10. Then we had a brief Ash Wednesday service. When that finished up, and at about 11:30, we started a drive up Ash Wednesday service. And the drive up Ash Wednesday service, and I'm not trying to proselytize here, but I actually do have these things just sitting here because some days I'm a slob and I just lay things down wherever. And I happen to do that with these. I took them out of my purse and laid them down here. I made these little cards because I do stuff like that. I've done it all my professional career. And what we did was we had of course, we had the ashes and the oil and stuff to do. And what I would do is I would read this card. And this card says, it's a prayer. It says, Almighty God, you've created us out of dust of the earth. Grant that these ashes may be to us a sign of our mortality and penance, that we may remember that it is only by your gracious gift that we are given everlasting life through Jesus Christ our Savior. Amen. Then, I do the ashes, and I tell the person, remember that you are dust, and to dust you'll return. And then I give them this little card. And this little card has a a part of Psalm 51. I'm not going to read all of it to you because you're not here for Ash Wednesday service, but it's this is the this little card is from from name tags like you get at a conference, and they put them in the little plastic sleeve or little plastic pin-on thing, and then you return the little plastic holder and you keep your name tag. Well, that's all these are, these little name tag cards, and you get 6 on a sheet, and they're perforated and you cut them out. Well, I have a bunch of these because of some of the work that I've done. I've got a lot of these left over, and I thought this would be really neat for our Ash Wednesday service. So the drive up service, they get this little piece to keep that's a piece of Psalm 51. And then on the back, it has our Easter themed videos for our Bibles and brunch. So, so March, like this, of course, the day I was handing them out was the 22nd, and the video was, I believe, in Easter. And then March 1st and the 8th, it's a 2-parter, and it's behind the Easter story. So that's what this was. And that's what, over here. And that's what I was doing Wednesday when the contractor drove up, because he lives here in town, and he has to go by our church to go over to his place. And so he stopped and he said, "I hope you like black." And I said, "What do you mean I hope I like black?" I thought he meant the ashes, because I had the big black ashes on my forehead. And he said, "I can't get your porch rail set in white." I'm like, man. He said he was going to go look, and that was from Lowe's. He said he was going to go look at Home Depot, and then he had to go to Menards for something else. He was going to look at Menards. Now, Menards is not convenient to us here. Menards is about an hour drive from here. But he said he had to stop there anyway, and he was going to stop on his way to Ohio for whatever he had to go do over in Ohio, and he was going to stop there and check. And if he could get him there, he would get him there. I told him, I said, "Don't be charging me mobilization fees, because I'm not sending you to Menards." But if he can't find what we're looking for, the more traditional white posts is what I'm wanting, the square posts, and I may not be able to get it, which I think is dumb, because they have a whole catalog with these things on that they say you can order. Well, apparently you can't order them. They don't have them. So there's that. Mike says, "I noticed some prices, for example, YouTube membership, Etsy merch, Amazon, convert much lower over here to the Philippine pesos. However, international shipping over here will cost more than the retail price of an item." Yeah, isn't it crazy? So, and shipping sometimes on other stuff will do that. That's why I go ahead and pay for Amazon Prime. I also pay for dumb Walmart membership, but the idea behind that was to compare, Amazon Prime membership and Walmart membership. And then the gas station up here decided to connect with Walmart so that we can get a discount on gas at the gas station using the Walmart app. And that's good. Discount on fuel is always good. So I don't know what our front porch is going to end up looking like, and I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm getting aggravated because I want that rail done, because we're going to have, well, we're having guests, but we're going to have more guests coming up as the weather improves and people travel more. And I don't want that porch not finished. So, I mean, it's not his fault. I'm not saying anything like that, but I just want to get that over with and done, because it's going to be expensive anyway. So I am making progress getting rid of DirecTV. I'm going to probably enter the cancellation thing in the app on Sunday. We're going to try to run the cable this weekend, which is another one of the things we've got to get done here, so that we can dial that attic antenna in for the local channels. And there's this thing they make that you can put in between the TV antenna cable, coax cable, and the television, whichever television, and it creates a Wi-Fi signal so that your antenna channels connect with your Wi-Fi, and you can get your local channels and any TV that's connected to your Wi-Fi. So that, I don't know it's about $150. I don't know if I want to pay that or not. So, hello, you new people on Clapper. I have that little wish list thing. So anybody who wants to, I've got a wish list on coffee and donuts. So you can. I don't really know how that works over there, but I guess it's kind of like tipping with sats and stuff. So go ahead and buy me some coffee over there on Clapper. It'd be fun. Figure out how to get all this stuff working. The transition to T-Mobile is going to take a little longer. I gotta still yet figure out which of the 3 phones are paid. Well, I know my husband's phone's paid for. I've got to find out for sure if mine is. That's on a paper bill somewhere. I got to dig that out of the pile and look for that to get off of AT&T and moved over to T-Mobile. Now, I did have someone tell me most of my friends who commented when I asked for input on T-Mobile were very positive in their reviews. I had one person who wasn't. But he said he can't get signal at the camp. His camp is in Greenbrier County. It's in a deep hollow, and I doubt that they even get daylight over there. So I don't know if I'm going to worry about that or not. We have a limited cable service included in the rent price for our apartment. Wi-Fi is extra. You could, could you get, Mike, could you get your own device and connect it into your cable service? Because I have a box from the cable company and I have my own router, my own Wi-Fi router. And my Wi-Fi router has the VPN on it. So I got that and put it on. And I like the VPN, the idea behind the VPN, but I'm finding it's interfering with some other stuff. So I was logging into something with the phone. What was I logging into with the phone? What was that? Darn it, I can't remember now. There was an app on my phone I had to log into for whatever reason. I guess there was an update or something, and it had me logged out, and it said respond to the email. So I responded to the email, and it said you've responded from a different IP address than the one we sent it to. And I realized, well, that's the VPN because it's constantly scrambling that IP address so that the chances of getting hacked are reduced. And I've run into where that's caused me some trouble with my notary work. That I can't upload documents because it's saying I'm not, I'm moving around too much or something. So I end up having to try to do some stuff with the phone because I could take it off of the Wi-Fi and use the phone, and then it's got a constant address. So it's kind of aggravating to me. But as far as I kind of want to get that Wi-Fi device for the antenna, but I just don't want to pay that. Okay, sorry. I had to fuss at the dog. He was into the cat food yesterday. I mean, heavy. They pulled the cat food dish off of a. It wasn't on the counter. It was on a high chair, and had the cat food. And they're Bob is allergic, so he's not supposed to be in it. Our service and amenities provided by our landlord for our property unit in general are set up sort of like an Airbnb and not amendable for upgrade. Well, I've had people that stayed here that altered things. This thing you put in between your TV and your cable box. So the coax cable. Now, you might have No, it wouldn't be coax on that. It would be Cat 5 cable, I think. And you would connect I would have to see it, but here I don't have any Cat 5 cable here to show you, but it clips. A Cat 5, it clips into a spot. A hole, kind of almost like a USB, but it's not the USB. It's for the network cable. So you clip that in. I wish I had one here handy. I could show you. Any other time I'd have stuff everywhere. But you just need a little piece of a little piece of Cat 5 cable a network cable that you could go from the cable box to a router. But oh, hey, BJ, I didn't know you were there, but bless your heart. I'll be thinking of you and praying for you guys, and praying for Leora. Hopefully she'll be feeling better, and praying for Pastor Bill too. I'll love you. I'll love you. Be careful driving. But you should be able to, you could probably take I'd have to look at it, but my box has the network cable out port, and then you put it into the Wi-Fi box, and you're not tearing anything up or tearing anything apart. You're just clipping in a wire here and clipping it in here. But I'd have to see what you've got. But you're a smart fella. You can. But if you can't, you can't. I mean, I don't want to try to get you in trouble with your landlord or anything there. So, but scheduling, I'm still freaking out about scheduling. I don't know if I don't remember what all I talked about on Tuesday, really. I'm still working on some scheduling and trying to get everything lined up. I did have a potential housekeeper. I text messaged her and she hasn't responded back. I text messaged her yesterday morning, so it's been a little over 24 hours. I haven't heard from her. And she's a young person that likes to text, so I would think that she would have already responded if she was going to. So I kind of think that may have fallen down the hole, the rabbit hole. I mentioned the DirecTV thing. Oh, I'm kind of all out of whack over here at Holstein House. There's so many things, and spring is coming, and I need to get the seeds started here in a couple weeks. And there's chickens and ducks at Tractor Supply. I saw them yesterday. Oh, they're so cute. I almost bought them, but I'm not ready. I don't have my cages ready for them, and I have to put them in the basement or come up with some other way out in the doghouse to keep them warm. I would have to have electric out there, and I would have to run an extension cord to do that. And then it would just be, I don't know, but it's possible, but it's awfully, nothing else is heated out there, and it's just a mess. But anyway, the better place for them would be in the basement. And so what I want to do is get, they had khakis and they had pecans. And then they had 3 or 4 different types of chicken I don't want to say I haven't heard of, but I'm not familiar with, because I've looked through a lot of the breeds. And they had leghorns, and I kind of want to get leghorns. As much as I like the color eggs, I love those colored eggs, especially in a package to give or sell. They are they're not reliable. They don't lay as well and reliably as the leghorn, and the leghorn's just a good all around chicken. So you don't have a cable box or router box in our unit, but we have basic media and internet. Wi-Fi goes up to about 65. How do you have that little Cat 5 cable with the coax cable with the wire sticking out in the middle of the connector, and you twist it in? Is that because if you've got that, you can get around it too? You can do almost the same thing. But again, I don't want to encourage you to get yourself in trouble with your landlord. I'm just trying to think. I know there's ways around it without tearing stuff up. But I'd have to see. I'd have to see what you've got going on down there. Now, for the Airbnb, I don't and the B&B, I don't have a lot going on right now. We've got some guests coming up, and I've still got the discount code, but most of you guys are not going to be coming up and staying, but you're more than welcome to if you're in the area, obviously. The the discounts are still in place, but I reached out. I mentioned that I had someone ask about their husband staying while he was in the area working for several weeks. I reached back out to her and told her that we could, after the 8th, we could accommodate him for several weeks in a row, and she said that he was at a hotel and that was okay. So I started thinking, and I was paying attention to some commercials. VRBO is pushing the if you're in a vacation home, you don't want to share it with a host. You don't want to share it with anybody. You get your own vacation. I don't. I'm trying to think of a way. I'm trying to look at different types of advertisement and seeing how I could kind of use it, in my favor. And I don't advertise well, I don't pay for advertisement, but I don't advertise myself as a vacation home. I'm a place I one of my on one of the official Airbnb chat boards, my signature line says I view my guests as cousins, and some of those cousins are crazy because I've had some really really weird people here before. And I mean, kind of spooky weird, not just they like milk in their Pepsi kind of weird. I mean, these are some real weirdos I've had, but I don't present myself as a holiday. I don't present myself as a vacation home. I present myself as, a lady and her husband and her dogs and cats who have a room to share in a small community that would like for you to come and stay. And I try to treat people like extended family, not like my son or daughter. I'm not that mothery kind of thing, but like extended family. And if you had a cousin coming in from another state who maybe you haven't seen since you were kids and they were coming to stay, that's kind of the way I like to look at guests. You're a distant cousin. You're somebody who you have coax, HDMI wiring for our TV. Really don't really need any more upgrades. Well, I'm trying to think of how you can do it without paying for it, but that's okay. But I'm looking at folks that come to stay as I'm welcoming you to my home. You're like a cousin. You're coming to visit. You get your private room. We have a shared bathroom, and you're going to eat in the dining room and stuff. But that's the kind of setup I've got now with the Hipcamp. That's new. I've never done that before, but it's going to be along the same lines. The only difference with the Hipcamp is that I'm restricting people to the maximum of 2 nights because I don't want it to become a campground type setup. Whereas I could, and I have hosted because I had a travel nurse stay here before. I've hosted people for weeks at a time. I don't want to get into that with a tent camper or a van. The hip camp arrangement that I'm looking at is just for a quick stop, a quick rest. Come and rest, take a shower on your way. Whatever, have some breakfast here. Buy some merch, and we'll see you later. Drive safely. So there are some places in my area where people can, like Canal State Forest, you can hike and you can ride horses and stuff like that. There's a national New River Gorge National Park. They only designated a national park, I think last year, or the year before, that people can go and whitewater raft and stuff. But if you're tent camping, or if you're in a van camper, or if you're pulling one of those little tiny teardrop type camper things, this is not for you long term. This is a place to stop and rest. So it's a property, mostly studios, initially marketed for Airbnb or short term, but later was converted to long term, month to month. Mike, yeah, that's probably true. I know a lot of people who put their technically rental property, like a home or whatever, on Airbnb and stuff in between, long-term renters. So what you're dealing with is kind of a reverse of that. Somebody's had an Airbnb and decided that it could have been for zoning or anything. There's a lot of places that are cracking down on Airbnb that they don't want that. Now, I'm not an absentee landlord or an absentee host, and that's again kind of what they're talking about. VBRO is what they're talking about, is you've got the cabin in the woods kind of thing. So, and that's fine. If that's people want that, that's fine. That's not what I'm doing. So if you're coming here to stay, you're coming to stay with us in our house. So, but the I've been trying to look at, and I was listening to oh shoot, I forget who it was. I was listening to somebody on YouTube today as I was doing some housework and stuff. Oh shoot, I can't think of who it was. And they had a really interesting take on advertising their business. And I've forgotten. Like, it's one of those things. I should have wrote it down and I didn't. I thought I'll remember that, but I didn't. And I thought I'm going to try to adapt that approach. I'm going to try to adapt that, to my short term stay. Hipcamp, I do. I think for the Hipcamp, I have everything I need to set up that portable bathroom. Again, I know that with Hipcamp, you can request people to provide their own, so that if you're coming to stay, you either have, if you're in a tent, you have to bring your own compostable toilet, or if you're in your van camper thing, you have to use that. But I don't want somebody using the backyard, and I don't know that somebody would, just because they're listed with that, wouldn't do it, and I may not know it for 3 or 4 days after they leave. So I'm okay with a portable bathroom setup. So I think I have all the pieces for that. I have the pop up. It came yesterday. I have the sink set up. It came yesterday. I have the seat and the bucket. I hate to say that, but the seat and the bucket. And I have the bags, and I have some pine chips. Well, I already have the pine chips because of the chickens and the ducks. I put that in there. And Brian had mentioned to me on our conversation here a couple weeks ago about using that. I think he was using it. The person he was talking about used that in a composting toilet setup. But I got to thinking, if I'm going to have to empty the bags that are in this toilet that I've got, it would be nice to have the shavings in there, the pine shavings, to absorb stuff, so it's not sloshy. And so when I tie the bag off and dispose of the stuff, it's not a sloshy mess. So a composting outhouse was mentioned. If I provided a structure, a tent of any kind or structure, I have to, with Hipcamp, I would have to provide either a rented porta-john or an actual structural outhouse type. It has to be more of a permanent setup. Either it can't be what I'm doing. The composting, I don't have a place for an outhouse, and if I tried to put one, it'd have to be back over the hill. That hill is so steep and so soft. The ground is so soft. You can't hardly even stand up back there right now. I'm probably going to run into trouble trying to put an outhouse in, because not only are the neighbors going to say, why does she have an outhouse when we've got public sewage? But it's going to draw unwanted attention by people. And I don't want to build one. I don't want a permanent outhouse out there. And a composting toilet setup is really expensive. Maybe if I get a lot of people coming, it might be worth the investment. But at this point, when I don't know what I'm about to get into with it, I don't think that's an investment I want to make. We have a camper, and so and he uses it mostly when he goes out of state for work, and we wouldn't have any need for a composting toilet to get a portable one. So I thought that I was reading the Hipcamp information, and it talked about all these different things, and Brian talked about different things, and it's an idea, but it's not going to fit here. So it's just not a good fit for where we are. I am also in the process of I've talked to the contractor. We got a bid on putting a roof on the doghouse, which is the building we've talked about before. I mean, I can go as far as getting the doghouse up and ready and rent it out too. And so people who on Hipcamp, that they wanted to go and stay in there, but and make that available. But we're not ready for that right now. So it's just not it's just not a good fit for us to have an actual outhouse on the property. Now, something that when I was talking to Mr. Holstein and my dad the other day after church, we take dad to Shoney's every Sunday after church, was offering, because we have clean outs on our septic lines to the public sewer. Could we offer people the option to, kind of like a dump station setup for a fee? That crossed my mind as a way to upsell people, I guess you could say. If you come in your camper van and you need to empty out, then we could, for a fee. I don't know if I'd get in trouble for that or not. We'd have to. We have a clean out behind the house. Ours goes from the back of the house out. The rest of them on our street come forward to the front of the property, or to the road in front of our houses. I know on our property there is another tap for the sewer, because there was one set for the little doghouse that they never got connected. I could tap into it. I don't know how well I could do it without getting in trouble. There should be a tap there, and it is at our property, but it's tied with the water bill. So you're technically not supposed to be on the public sewer if you don't have public water service. And right now there's no public water right there. It's a lot to think about, and take some, I'd have to pay somebody to go in there and do that. But it's an idea. I've had several things flash through my brain since we started talking about this that may be on the edge of getting me in trouble with the county. Not like illegal, but not exactly what they had in mind when they set some things up. So, because if I'm already paying water service, I should have full access to the sewer, whether I'm, because I have to, even if you fill up if you're washing your car and that water's not going into the sewer, you still got to pay for sewage based on your usage of water. So it's kind of crazy. Oh, we're getting close to time. I got to watch, because Dad will be over after a while to get here in about an hour, to get his finger stick done. But I do want to make I do want to make a small sheet. I started off thinking booklet, but I don't think I need that much. Probably a small sheet of paper with just some information to keep in the toilet for the guests that asked them. And then I got to thinking, instead of using the pine shavings, I could use the horse bedding, those little pine things that they use in horse bedding. That would probably be smarter. So to take and I'm trying to be delicate with my language here, to cover up their waste with the pine pellets after they're finished, and then providing a bucket with those in there and a little scoop to just kind of scoop it in there so that, oh, I'm about to sneeze, so that when the time comes for me to clean the toilet up, then I don't have all that sloshy stuff. Don't ask, don't tell. Yeah, that's kind of don't ask, don't tell. Yeah, it's the difference between um, allowed versus able. I think some of them say allowed versus able. You just do it and then the problem with the don't ask, don't tell is that I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to tap in under the street. So I'm gonna have to come off my property line and come under the street to find the connection and tap into that. So people around here are nosy and they'll see it. So that's just how to delicately do that. And the 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 tie-in, I think maybe the word I'm looking for, it's tie-in. The tie-in is already there. It's just not being used because when they put the public sewer lines through here, I don't know, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, if there was a house on the property, they put a tap and or a connector. And so there should be one there, but you're supposed to notify them before you do it. So it's just, yeah. And I don't really care. If they say you're supposed to tell us, I would kind of plead ignorant in that I'd say, but it's already there. No, I don't Snapchat over there on Clapper. That's not what I'm here for. Thank you very much. I don't know. I would come up with something. I'm pretty good at coming up with creative problem solving ideas. But I was going to make a little sheet that asks, and to keep it in there in that bathroom area that asks, you know, don't to use either, whether I'm using the pine shavings or if I'm using the horse bedding pellet things, because they're really good. They turn into sawdust when they get wet. People use them for cat litter. They don't have a horrible smell. They absorb a lot, so it's pretty good. I could get a bag of that. It would last for a long time. To use a scoop of that when you're done or before you go, maybe even. And then keep the lid shut, and please don't make a mess. Make sure the door's shut, because I need that door shut all the time or my chickens and ducks are going to go in there, and cats and dogs. So I don't want our critters going in there. And I don't want animals getting stuck in there like raccoon or possum or something going in there and getting stuck in there. So to keep that door shut all the time. The hand washing station thing, put your I'm thinking probably they could put their paper towels in the toilet itself, because it's not going to clog anything up, and it would save me having an extra trash can. But I could still yet put it, because I haven't put them all together yet. I don't know how it's all going to fit. I don't know how much room I'm going to have once I get there, and I want to try to do that this weekend. So maybe they could just go ahead and toss their paper towels into the toilet itself, because it's all going to go out anyway. Closing the door. And just, those little things, and maybe on the back, some shameless self-promotion, get your merch at etsy.com / Holstein House. So I don't have really a whole lot. I want to kind of keep this pretty close to an hour today. I could go on and on and on, but I can talk for weeks. I did the interview with Stan Bumgardner, and there is a clip of it up on YouTube at Robin Holstein. Stan Bumgardner. This particular clip, he's talking about his time with the Southern rock band Rockin' Horse, which I like to tell you that my husband was a keyboard player for. And they did some awesome music. They really did. Dave is a fabulous musician and writer in his own right, and those guys just were fabulous. They didn't need tuning microphone things so that they were in tune. They were good. They were really good. I hated to see them. Um, Clapper is that one that's like TikTok, only without the Chinese in it. And you can live stream with no more, I've only got maybe, I don't know, 80 or 90 people following me. And I figure a lot of them are weirdos because of some of the comments I see. But you don't have to have any set amount of followers to live stream. And so I'm kind of messing around over there to see, how it's going to work. I've loaded a few things. I've had a few decent comments. I get some filth too, but you can have that if it's wide open. I don't know Stitch. I don't know Stitch. I'm trying to like Clapper if I can get around the nastiness, but that's everywhere, even on TikTok, So as I work on building my community over there, and I got to get some more short content up. I'm not real good with that. It's just, I was getting ready to do one, and I looked at the clock, and I wouldn't have had time to do it today. I was getting ready to do one. I'm about to mount. I've got a box here. It's just one of those things that you put your broomsticks and mop sticks and stuff on. I was getting ready to put that up with my the drill that I got the other day from Walmart. Just because I need to show that I'm doing stuff. It's a battery-powered drill, Hart brand, 20-volt system. It's a really neat little setup, and it's easy for me to use. Even with the battery, it's not too heavy. So I put up one of these really large clocks on the front porch this morning. I thought, dummy, you should have videoed that. Well, it was easy. I didn't have a lot of trouble with this drill. Usually you've got the cord and stuff, and there's a couple other things that I got to do that I'm going to video for short content. I'm just not that good with it, and I just don't have that much time to fool with it. But I'm not good. I don't know anything about Stitch. Now over here, it's fussing about about my battery going dead. So I'm probably should just turn it off, but I'm going to put a battery in. I should be done because, been going for an hour. Oh, shoot. There we go. I think I got it. Now it's going to sit sideways. If it sets up at all. I think it's charging. Yeah, it's charging. Just have to be crooked. So yeah, I don't unboxing short videos. Yeah, but I forget, and you can only unbox that thing once. But now this has two of them. I want to put the other one out in the chicken coop. It came as a package of two, because I have some small tools like that I got at Tractor Supplies, garden tools. Like they make them for kids, but I got a small shovel, a small rake, and stuff to use in the chicken coop because I have space for a gigantic one anyway, so it's okay. I may do it as an unboxing there. But so for those of you who aren't familiar, you can go to robinholstein.com and look at the menu, and you will see Holstein House there. And you can look around and you can book either through, I've got a link for the Airbnb listing, and I've got a link for a direct booking. So if you are in the area, if you're traveling to or through West Virginia along Interstate 6477, the West Virginia Turnpike, you can look us up and see if you need a place to stay. Oh, and before I go, let me ask this question. And Mike, you might be able to help me out, except it's kind of late where you're at. I'm surprised you're still awake. I would not be awake. That's why I don't get, you'll very seldom see me on a live Toolman Tim, or now I do Brian, of course it's early in the morning for me and I'm up. Josh is later in the evenings, and usually I'm winding things down, putting things away, and so I don't get to participate much with his, but I do catch a lot of them on replay. But I'm noticing a trend. Now, this isn't a judgmental comment. I don't care if what you do, really. within the bounds of the law. But why is it such a big deal to be drinking whiskey on your videos? Where did that come from and why? I don't. I've had my share of whiskey. I drink wine occasionally. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't drink at all. It's not it. I'm just noticing this trend of people grabbing their whiskey glass and going and taking a big, like it's I don't know, a rebel thing. People drink whiskey. I've had my share of Gentleman Jack. I've had my share of Crown Black. I've had my share of high dollar stuff. I used to love White Russian, you know, and but I just don't get it. Why? It's Friday night, no early morning Saturday schedule. Okay, that's true. You did tell me you had just normal errands to run. So I don't stay up on Friday nights anymore, and it's mostly because I still have to get up early to take care of the chickens and ducks. Our late nights, weekends have been oh pretty well emaciated because of his work and our chickens and ducks and stuff. So he has to leave so early for work, and then it's just you're getting up at 4:30 and you're working a whole day and then trying to go out and play music at night. He figured out real quick that was just not a thing anymore. It's part of growing up, I guess. But I don't know where this sudden well, maybe it's not even sudden. It's just something I've been noticing that people are drinking, and maybe it's not even really whiskey. Could be tea, but just making a big deal out of it. Is it they want to feel like they're at the bar having a drink with their buddy or something? I mean, I don't know. It's just an observation. It's not a judgment at all. And y'all drink what you want to drink. I don't care, but I just, you know, I don't know. So I'm going to wrap it up. I was going to talk some more about the Ohio situation with the chemical spill, but I mean, it is what it is. I hate that phrase, but it is what it is. You can't fix it. You can talk it to death, but you can't change anything. The chemicals are spilled, they've been burned, the stuff's in the air, everybody's going crazy about phosgene, and I mean, in the water, it's done. It's done, and um it has to be cleaned up. And I don't know, it would depend whether I would drink the water. Would depend on where the water source is. If it's well water, I'd be really worried about it. I'd be worried about, depending on how close I am and where the water table. See, you got to know all this other stuff. You can't just run in and start screaming. You know, you got to know where's the water table. Where is this pollution and chemicals in relation to the water table? Where are the intakes for the city water? Where's your water well in relation to all this other stuff? The bigger thing that I'd be worried about is the dust and the sediment in the house and on the grass. I'm not worried about phosgene at this point. You're not going to get enough phosgene to hurt you at this point, and if you were going to get it anyway. But the dust in the house, I'd be concerned about. Your air filters, I'd be changing my HVAC filters every week. Honestly, even if I had to just get cheap ones, I'd be changing them every week and for a while until I knew that most of that dust was out of my home. But I only saw that what you drinking show and tell on some of those Unloose the Goose after party related videos. I never saw that Unloose the Goose thing. I'm not even sure what it is. And I don't know. I mean, there's a couple of them. I don't want to name people because it's not like they're not doing anything wrong. It's not like when Elon Musk was smoking this big nasty joint in front of everybody. And saying, "Oh yeah." I mean, it wasn't even a. If you're gonna smoke that stuff, find something decent to smoke it out of. Gosh, but anyhow, it's not like they're doing anything wrong. It's just I see it. I think, why? Why? Why make a big deal? So So I've got a cup of coffee here. It's in a fairly expensive cup. It's one of those Ember cups Mr. Holstein bought me 3 years ago for Christmas. And so it has a charging plate and a USB connection and plugs it into an outlet, and it keeps the battery in here charged. It keeps the coffee at the good temperature and all that. But I don't get it. I'm not like, hey, I've got some coffee. Now Brian sells coffee. I get that for him. I get that for him. This is a pitch for him. But these people aren't selling whiskey. And I'm not selling coffee. Brian would like me to. Yeah, it is a nice coffee cup setup when I remember to use it. But you've got to be close to some kind of power source, which can, he bought it thinking I could use it on my desk, which I can. But my desk is right now, it's either down in the bunker or it's up the street. And I probably wouldn't use it as much. So I've got it sitting here. But anyhow, Brian's selling coffee. So I get it. He's using that as part of his marketing. But these other people, it's just kind of like, why? I'm not promoting Ember cups here. Matter of fact, this is the first time I've ever mentioned that this is an Ember cup. And pardon me, the coffee is Coal River coffee, which is sold locally and roasted locally. But I'm not a pitch person for them, so I'm not trying to pitch that. I do provide it to people, to guests, fresh ground. I grind it myself, but that's for my guests. That's to spur people to come and stay. But kind of a marketing. So I don't know. I guess it's just a thing. I don't know. And that's okay. I don't care. Like I said, it's just something I noticed that it's okay. Oh, let's see. The birthday came and went. Today I have a total of 150,144 Satoshis, which comes out to a grand total of $36.17 if I do my math correctly. And this morning, when I checked fairly early this morning, Bitcoin was at 23,847 US dollars. So I still need the wallet. I'm working on that, and I'm trying to get all the things. I want to get it done by, well, it'd have to be Tuesday. I'd have to get it ordered before Tuesday to have it done by the end of the month. I'll put as soon as I figure out the best app or the best place to purchase it, I'm going to purchase what I need to hit that million Satoshis. I think I already have enough to do it anyway, as far as US dollars. So we're good there. Our Bible study, I talked about that already. I talked about Stan Bumgardner, and the full interview for Stan is going to hit fountain.fm, the Holstein House podcast, on Saturday. So you'll be able to listen to the whole thing. Stan talks about his time as a fiddle player, some of the music he's played, hardcore bluegrass, I think he called it one time. I thought, what? So he talked about that. He talks about some working for Culture and History and Golden Seal magazine, and he talks about cemeteries and the history of cemeteries. I think Brian would enjoy that part of it. I have clipped that. I'm going to run that a different day, and I'll share that around with people later. And he talks about a lot of things. He really does. And I think it was a really good interview. I've got somebody else. I'm considering someone from Australia. We got to work out a date, so I'm not going to go too deep into that until Hamtech. That's probably going to be postponed. I'm probably not going to go in the morning. I'm going to probably wait till the next one. I just have so many other things that need to happen, like before the middle of March, and I know it seems like a long way off, but I need help with it. And the husband only has the weekends because he works an hour from the house. So his 10-hour days actually go into 12-hour days because he has to make that drive an hour each direction. So, but I'll do it. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of doing it. I'm going to ask him when the next one's scheduled to come up. If it may be a little better timing wise for me to do it the next time anyway. Let's see. And I am finishing up. I already shared with you about the Etsy shop, Holstein House, etsy.com/Holstein House. We've got t-shirts. We've got ceramic and enameled mugs and backpacks and stickers over there with a couple different, actually 3 different images on them. One is the round Holstein House logo. And then there's a couple for the Hipcamp, one for the Hipcamp tents and one for Hipcamp RV type van bus thingies. So we're going to wrap that up. This is actually episode 40. So in 10 episodes or 5 weeks, I'm going to hit 50, and I'm going to decide what I'm going to do for our 50th broadcast. So I got to think that through. Am I going to give maybe a couple coffee cups away or something like that? So I appreciate you being here with me, Fountain. If you're listening on Fountain, I hope you will boost and clip and share the podcast. I want to thank you, Frostinos, for 1,000 Satoshis for my birthday. On my way to being a Satoshi millionaire, I dead dude for 1,500 and helping me get the tip box set up in the Telegram, although he kind of denies it. He says he's innocent, but nobody is innocent. You might not be guilty, but you sure ain't innocent. Your continued support while I stumble through all this is really appreciated. So those of you guys that participate in the value for value exchange, if you found anything informational or valuable or helpful, please share your value, your opinion of that with your Satoshis. And if there's anything, hang on a minute. Let's see if there's any questions you have about Holstein House or setting up your own Airbnb and stuff like that, feel free to message me, leave a comment or something, and I'll answer it. Carla asks me, were you the person putting ashes on folks Wednesday? Just curious. I attended my first Ash Wednesday service this week. Have observed. Did I miss that? Have observed Lent. Just never been to a service. The whole thing prompted me to research why Lent is 46 days for a 40-day fast. Yeah. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, go for 50. I'm going to figure something. Yeah, I'm going to hit 50. I'm going to do that. Carla, yes, I actually did the imposition of ashes, and our pastor, the covering pastor, it was our previous pastor. It's a long story. I think you know it, but he was actually there for Bible study. I asked him if he wanted to do it. He said, absolutely not. It was fine for me to do it. That he just kind of wanted to sit back and attend for a change. So I actually imposed ashes on the pastor and his wife. Yes, 46 days for a 40-day fast. I hope you found out that the Sundays are not included because, ? They are considered miniature Easters in and of themselves. So hopefully, Carla, you found that out. Oh, the dogs knocked something over up there. And I hope you're still there watching. So, and I think you are. It looks like you may still be there because you're on the Facebook. So, Carla, hopefully that did answer your question. And, if you want to message me later, that's fine. That was the first Lent service that I did. I've participated in before. Yep, Catholics don't fast on Sunday, first day of the week, Resurrection Sunday thing. Well, you don't have to fast on Sunday. It's actually a church created tradition. It's not a Rat's the word I'm trying to think of. Sacrament. It's not a sacrament. It's not one of the things that we're told um, to observe. But so the rules are set by humans, men, man. So yeah, I haven't fasted for Lent. I probably should. I've been thinking that maybe Good Friday, I might fast for Good Friday. I'm going to look into that some more. I got to look into a few things for church services as well, in recognition of the period of Lent. I got to get the stuff ready for Sunday. I mean, there's a lot going on. The information I found said it had something to do with how they handled new converts at one. Yes, so what the short version of that is years and decades and centuries ago when they started this observance, you may have gone forward to the altar and been saved, and you're ready to be baptized. And the 40 days of Lent helped prepare. You were supposed to do certain things, and you prepared yourself for your baptism. Your baptism would have been on Easter Sunday or Resurrection Sunday, as some call it. So, yeah, yeah, it was a period of preparation for people before their baptism. Fasting from TV, internet, cinema, gossiping. Well, I tell you what, Mike, what I told the church that when we in service Sunday and actually the Sunday before for Lent, instead of giving up chocolate and TV and those things, give up not going to church. So all these people who sit home and don't go to church, give that up for Lent and come to church. So that's what my challenge to my church. Well, it wasn't so much to my church; it was the people who don't come. I'm giving up people for Lent. Well, I don't eat people, so I don't have to give them up, Carla. But I do have to go. I do have Dad coming over to do his INR test, and we need to get that taken care of. So I will stop here and I will end the broadcast here. And I thank everyone for participating and everybody for commenting. And all of you guys who see this on a replay, you can feel free to make comments. Put replay in before you start your comment. It'll be great. And I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So now I have to go. I have to go. I have to go. And I will see you again on Tuesday. Okay? Tuesday, the 28th. We'll see you then. Bye bye.